Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Saturday, the 2nd of November 2024, and in today's video I'm going to decipher for you chapter 54 in the book of Isaiah, okay? I'm gonna go verse by verse on this chapter because it does have some interesting prophecies which could be quite difficult for Bible scholars to grasp, and so I'm going to be giving you my own commentary, okay? As always, I do have a program here, okay, on some of the main verses. I'm going to give you a very special treat or commentary on verse 10, okay, because verse 10 actually talks about the mountains shall depart, okay, and so we need to ask ourselves which mountains are these, okay. In my view, it's to do with the Ezekiel 38:19 earthquake, because you have to think when can this happen? When can these mountains shall depart? It's plural here, it's a lot of mountains, okay? And then it also talks about the hills being removed. I believe that this is going to happen when Jesus touches with his feet on the Mount of Olives, okay? And it's split into two parts, north and south. And Zechariah talks about this in chapter 14, verse 4, okay? So, now I think it's important that I go through with all the verses and give you my own biblical commentary, okay? But essentially, Isaiah chapter 54 is a Millennium Kingdom chapter in context. It's all for the Millennium Kingdom when Jesus comes back, okay? For example, on verse 2 we read, Enlarge the place of the tent, okay? In other words, Jesus is coming to tabernacle, to tent in Israel, if you like, with his people, the Jewish people, okay? On verse 5, thy Micah is thy husband, okay? In other words, that Jesus is the husband, or the Redeemer, if you like, of the Jewish people, okay? The God of the whole earth shall he be called, okay? So when can God, the God of the whole earth, shall he be called? This can only happen during the Millennium Kingdom, okay? Then on verse 8 talks about the Lord Jesus being the Redeemer. He's going to redeem the Jewish people when, again, in the Millennial Kingdom. Then verse 13, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord. Again, this can only happen during the Millennial Kingdom, okay? So I just established here some verses which quite clearly are for the Millennial Kingdom, but now that you've seen the whole program, let us go straight into all the verses, okay? It's not a lot, it's only 17 verses, but I think it's important to go through them, okay? Now, it says here on verse 1, Sing, O barren, is talking about Israel, you that did not bear, break forth into singing and cry aloud. Why is Jesus saying this through Isaiah, okay? Sing, O barren, you that did not bear, because the Jewish people are just coming out of the tribulation period, okay? And of course, it's going to be very hard for them to have children, okay? And then he goes on into say, break forth into singing and cry aloud. Why is it that they need to cry, to break forth into singing rather? Because Jesus is coming back for the Millennial Kingdom. And so the Jewish people are so happy that they need to break forth into singing, okay? They're coming out of tribulation, okay? And cry aloud, you that did not travail with child. In other words, it's going to be very difficult for the Jewish people to have children during the tribulation period for obvious reasons, okay? For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, said the Lord. Yeah, of course, the heathen or the Gentiles will be ruling during the tribulation period, okay? And of course, they're going to have more children than than the Jewish people. In other words, the Jewish people are the wife of the Lord, okay? Verse 2, enlarge the place of the tent, okay? So this is like a commandment, Jesus telling the Jewish people, hey, enlarge the place of the tent because it's coming down to tabernacle, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thy habitations. So it's kind of like a figure of speech, if you like, Jesus coming down to tabernacle, okay? Spare not, lengthen thy cords and strengthen thy stakes. Okay, so It's a figure of speech that, hey, Jesus is coming down to Tabernacle with the Jewish people, and he's going to be ruling from the third temple. Okay, so Jesus comes down to Tabernacle. Okay, verse 3: For you shall break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Okay, so again, um, the Jewish people will inherit the Gentiles. Now, I think that this means that many Gentiles will be coming in to pay homage to Jesus, especially in the third temple during the Millennium Kingdom. Okay, and so the Jewish people, if you like, or the seed, if you like, a lot of Gentiles will be coming in, if you like, and of course the cities in Israel, okay, will become inhabited. It's going to be a lot more people, okay. Verse 4: Fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame. For you shall forget the shame of thy youth, and shall not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. Okay, well, of course, in the past, the Jewish people did not believe on Jesus as the real Messiah. So Jesus is saying here, hey, don't be ashamed, don't worry about it, move on. I'm your Messiah now, and just forget about it, shall forget and move forward, if you like. Okay, verse 5: For thy Micah is thy husband. In other words, God is the Micah of the Jewish people. Okay, for the Micah is the husband. Okay, Jesus is the husband of the Jewish people. The Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer. The fact that it says thy Redeemer is that the Jewish people are coming out of tribulation, and Jesus is redeeming them. The Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall he be called. So this can only happen. The God of the whole earth, he can only be called the God of the whole earth when Jesus comes back for the Millennium Kingdom, and he redeems his people. Okay, he's the husband of the Jewish people. Okay, verse 6: For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when you was refused, said God. Um, I think that this one is more like saying that the Jewish people, of course, they rejected their Messiah, and so because of this, woman referring to Israel was forsaken and grieving spirit. Okay, but now the God has come back. It's going to be a lot different for them. Verse 7: For a small moment I have forsaken thee. I believe this is talking about the tribulation period. Okay, a small moment, only 7 years, or Daniel's 70th week. Okay, so for a small moment during tribulation I have forsaken thee, but with great mercies I will gather thee. Okay, so it's talking about Jesus redeeming the Jewish people after the tribulation period. Okay, and then verse 8: in a little wrath, meaning the tribulation period, I hid my face from thee for a moment. Okay, so it's talking about here Daniel's 70th week, in my view. But with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, said the Lord thy Redeemer. So the fact that it's talking about redeeming, okay, or saving the Jewish people, um, this points that this verse here is Jesus is talking here, say, hey, um, you suffer a little wrath, during the tribulation period, and I hid my face, but hey, I'm your Redeemer, okay, and I'm coming back with everlasting kindness, okay. So this is why in a little wrath is talking about the tribulation period, because the fact that we got the Redeemer is coming to give you everlasting kindness proves the point that in a little graph is actually the tribulation period. Okay. Verse 9: For this is as the waters of Noah unto me, for as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so I have sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. So, okay, here Jesus is saying, hey, uh, I do remember the days of Noah, and I know that you're coming out of tribulation in a little, with a little grasp, but hey, I'm not gonna be fooling into you. Uh, I'm not gonna rebuke. I'm gonna be, you're gonna go through Daniel's 70th week. It's not gonna be as bad as the days of Noah, but nonetheless, when I come back, I will be your redeemer. Okay, if you follow the context. Okay. Verse 10 is actually a really good one. And this is where I want to offer some commentary. For the mountains shall depart. When can this happen? For the mountains shall depart. In my view, I think this is the only period in time in Jewish history because it's talking about the mountains of Israel. Okay, the mountains of Israel shall depart. Now, notice how it's talking about mountains and the hills be removed. The mountains, I believe, is that great Ezekiel earthquake of 38:19. Okay, so let us quickly go to Ezekiel. I got a patch marker here, folks. Bear with me. Okay, so if you go to Ezekiel 38 and you go to verse 19, okay, it talks about how it's going to be a great shaking in the land of Israel. In other words, an earthquake. And it says here, and the mountains shall be thrown down, okay, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. So basically, what's going to happen very soon during the Ezekiel war, okay, God is going to defeat this great northern mountains by, causing a great earthquake, okay. The mountains are going to be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, okay, meaning all the tall mountains, and every wall shall fall to the ground. Now, by every wall, it's not talking about, the walls in Jewish people's homes. It's referring to the mountains because it's talking about an earthquake happening in Israel in the mountains. It's talking about steep places. And so the whole context is about the mountains. And so every wall refers to mountains making a wall, okay? So, for example, let's just say that you got a mountain here, then you got another one here, another one here, another one here. And because they're parallel to one another, they're making walls, okay? They are so big that they are like walls, okay? And so the walls are going to be coming down, meaning that the whole mountains are going to coming down in northern Israel, okay? And this is the only point in history very soon when the Ezekiel War of 38 happens. This is when the mountains are going to be coming down and falling to the ground, okay? Now, for the mountains shall depart. I just told you that this relates to Ezekiel 38:19, the big earthquake, and the hills be removed. So when can this happen? Now, of course, it's going to happen when the Redeemer comes, and I believe that this is actually referring to what Zechariah chapter 14, verse 4 talks about. In other words, when Jesus uh, touches with his feet on the Mount of Olives, is split into two parts, north and south. Okay, so let us quickly go to Zechariah 14:4, and I got a patch marker here, folks. Bear with me. Bear with me because this is an important deciphering. Okay, so Zechariah chapter 14, verse 4, and his feet, meaning Jesus, shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half towards the south. Okay, so I believe that when it talks about the hill, it's actually talking about the Mount of Olives. So this is the only when you think about it, Um, let me just keep it here to verse 10. So when you think about it, um, the mountains shall depart. That's Ezekiel 38:19 earthquake, and the hills be removed. The only point in history when the hills will be removed is, and it's not talking about mountains. It's actually, like I just told you in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 4, when Jesus touches at the Mount of Olives and they split in two, okay, north and south, okay. But my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, said the Lord, that had mercy on thee. Okay, so of course Jesus is gonna keep his covenant for all eternity, his covenant of peace with the Jewish people. Okay. Then verse 11, O you afflicted, tossed with tempest. Okay, so he's talking about the Jewish people that were afflicted during the tribulation period, or during Daniel's 70th week, if you like. They're just coming out of tribulation. Or you are afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. Okay, coming out of the tribulation. Behold, I will light thy stones with fair colors, and thy foundations with sapphires. Verse 12, and I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. Okay, so Jesus is going to beautify, the city of Jerusalem. And there are some scriptures that say that, when Jesus returns, that Israel is going to be very prosperous. In terms of also the land itself, He's going to restore the land. The land is going to be very fruitful, if you like. So, and there are many scriptures that say this. Okay, so verse 13, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord. So when can this happen? In which the Jewish people will be taught. I mean, in which the children or Jewish people will be taught by the Lord. That can only happen during the Millennium Kingdom. Okay, and great shall be the peace of thy children. Yeah, of course. Jesus is gonna protect the Jewish people and the children as well. Verse 14, in righteousness shall thou be established, of course, because the Jewish people will be established in righteousness because Jesus is going to be there as a king of Israel. And don't forget that also the 12 apostles will be ruling over the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? And King David is going to be there as well. As a prince, if you like. Jesus will be the king of Israel, and David will be the prince of Israel. There is a scripture saying this. In righteousness you shall be established. You shall be far from oppression. Of course, Jesus is going to be there. For you shall not fear. Of course, Jesus is going to be there to protect the Jewish people. And from terror, it shall not come near thee. Of course, Jesus is going to protect his people. Verse 15, behold, they shall surely gather together. Jesus is talking here about the heathen. Okay, he's saying here, behold, they, meaning the heathen or the nations, shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. So if the nations that might have through into the millennial kingdom, if they gather themselves together against Israel, they are going to fall. Okay, now we know that at the end of the millennial kingdom, the devil is gonna be let loose for a season, and then they're gonna come. The nation's gonna come against the saints and the Jewish people in Jerusalem, and it's gonna rain fire from heaven and wipe them all out. Okay. Verse 16: Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. So, what is Jesus saying into the future is that He's already created a smith or a maker, okay, that can, as a figure of speech, form metal work, okay, or weapons, okay, or instruments, if you like, that Jesus can use to destroy, the nations, or any Gentiles that are living in the Millennium Kingdom. They want to come against the Jewish people, okay. And verse 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Yeah, of course. With Jesus there protecting, the Jewish people and Israel, no weapon that is formed is going to prosper, for obvious reasons, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, you shall condemn. So if any of the nations that might have into the millennial kingdom shall rise against the Jewish people, okay, the Jewish people will condemn them, okay. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. In other words, this is the heritage of the Jewish people, okay, of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, said the Lord, okay. Alright, folks, thanks for watching. I hope this has been a help, and I'll talk to you all later.